Hello. I hope someone shows up today. I have plenty of things to share, talk about, and be fun to find out what people did this week and how that worked out for them and what stories we have to tell each other. And just enjoy our company. I think Chiwa said that she would come, but she's going to be probably a little bit late. She's meditating, so I don't know if she'll come out of that trance or not. Um, she she meditates 3 or 4 hours a day, so I feel like that takes care of my spiritual connection. Just having that go on in my house to have someone meditating that much. I find it a blessing. And let's see if anybody's showing up. Oh, here comes somebody. It's Emily. Emily,
What's
yay.
up?
Well, this is our second meeting of the virtual Union Hall happy hour, and you're actually the first person to ever come to happy hour.
Hey, gotta
So,
start somewhere.
yeah, and so what I was thinking we could do, Chiwa may show up a little bit later. She was a lot of fun. I invited Scott. He may see the invitation or not. Brian's camping, so he won't be here. And
Mm.
anyway, so why don't we start out? And why don't you tell me a little bit about your week? Because it's happy hour, and we want to talk about what we did this week and what worked and what goodies we did. And
This week I've mostly just been working. Let's see. I worked every weekday except for Wednesday. I was off Wednesday, so I did a little bit of cleaning, but I had a headache, so I ended up sleeping most of the day. I took my cat to the vet for some shots, but it turns out it was too early for those shots, so
okay,
I'll have to go again next month. Um, and today I was working, and tomorrow I work, and then I'm off Sunday.
you're off when?
Sunday.
Sunday. Do you work 6 days a week?
Oh no, I work Monday, Tuesday, and then I'm off Wednesday, and then I work
Mm-hmm.
Thursday, Friday, and I work Saturday, but Saturday it's only like a 4 hour shift.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, because we're a bank, so us being open on Saturday is like it's like a convenience day for people.
Right,
Right. So it's not
right.
something we have to do and stay open all day. So we're it's like 10 to 2.
That's cool. So,
Yeah.
so you work for the bank. You're a teller, or you just
Yeah.
what?
I'm a teller.
You count the money.
Yeah, I count the money and do deposits and withdrawals and do cashier's checks and stuff like that.
Did you
It's
have to do
definitely
training?
it's definitely a little bit weird though when you have to process transactions that are like more money than what you make in a month.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, that's definitely a little bit jarring, but other than that,
yeah. I mean, there's a lot of money. We just don't have it. Any of it.
yeah, pretty much.
They say money talks, but all it says to me is goodbye.
Right.
And
I just got paid today, but I spent most of it. I had a bunch, like I said, I had a bunch of medical bills from the surgery that I had. So I paid off some of them on my credit card, and I literally my entire paycheck went to paying that off. Um, and there's still a little bit more that I have to worry about, but otherwise it's mostly okay.
Well, I was talking to my friend today, KJ, and we were talking about, and I saw it somewhere else, so it's a legitimate conversation that there is an idea that they like to keep us kind of poor so we can't get our get our minds right and start to think about what would be better for our lives. And we're so busy surviving that we can't think about the future we would want.
Oh yeah. I think people have started to make a really interesting point is that, you know, America being one of the only first world countries where um, you have to, like, medicine is not free, medical care is not free.
I
And
know.
it being a capitalist country, it's like they're making money off of you being sick. They want you to be sick, you know?
Yes, yes. There's no money in the cure. There's only money in the illness. Hey, here
Exactly.
comes Chiwa. You like Chiwa? She's my housemate. She lives
Really?
uh she lives in the other end of the condo. So
Yeah, but I
hello,
got to take a little
Chiwa.
break to go give Precious her happy hour.
Oh, okay. Every happy hour for everybody.
Woo!
Precious is my dog, and she was giving her a treat.
Oh, that's nice. I didn't know you had a dog.
Oh yeah, it's a little 20-pound dog. Her name is Precious. When I got
Oh,
her, I was going to name her Presence to remind me to stay present, in the now.
right. But she was
And
too precious.
every time I look at her, I say, "Oh, you're precious. Oh, you're precious." And then I realize, yeah, you're precious. That's who you are. You're precious. And
That's
so
cute.
it's stuck. And I have a whole story about how I got her. And Shiva, we're talking about our week.
Talking about what?
Our week. It's
Oh,
happy hour. We're here to
oh.
have enjoy what talk about what our week was like and any successes we had or any um yeah, I mean, no pressure, no, it's not a
It's hard to
test.
remember, you know.
I can't remember my week.
I
You
mean,
know me, I can't remember anything. So
I mean,
Yeah.
I know what happened today.
tell us what happened today.
Well, I told you I got to talk to a guy from the Service Corps of Retired Executives about
Ooh.
my little business that I'm building, and we had a great time. We had so much fun. And he told me all his climate stories, and I told him my climate stories, and he's going to help me. He's got other people he's going to introduce me to. We're going to, advise me on things that he doesn't know, and
Oh,
he's going to help
right.
me connect to, get more people reading my books when they come out. And yeah, so that's exciting.
And it's always more fun when you're working with somebody
Oh yeah.
that's an ally, and
So
and it's like
I see a third person here that I don't know.
oh, this is Emily. Emily, this is Chiwa. So,
Hi,
Hello.
Emily.
Chiwa, why don't you introduce yourself, and then we'll get Emily to introduce herself.
Okay, well, I live in the same house as TC. We're neighbors. We're neighbors who occupy the same house and friends. And I help people write and publish books and get them out to the world. And I'm into climate change, and I'm into, not into climate change, into doing what we can to uh, minimize the effects of climate change. And I write children's books about loving the earth and loving animals. So that's kind of what I'm into today.
Oh, that's nice. That's really nice.
Cool. Now, Emily, I'd like to even know a little bit more about you. I know some, but let's hear more. Let's start
Um,
out with just, where you are and, that kind of stuff.
my name is Emily. I'm from North Carolina in like the beach area. like on the coast. I have 2 cats. um, I live in an apartment and I go to school over here. I'm going to school for business. Uh, I'm not super into business, but it just seemed like a safe enough degree.
So I was talking today. I think it might have been to you. I'm not sure, Emily, but I was saying to somebody that, I was telling about the happy company, and then I realized that college could be my idea of the happy company was you would go and explore your passions until you find out your passion. And then you would, once you know your passion, then, you become rewarded after that, and you can have a life of your choosing.
Right.
So, then I thought, well, college could be like that, you spend some time in your youth exploring what you want. And then I realized, but they're training you for a job.
Right. Yeah.
The happy company's training you for a life of bliss and passion and fulfillment.
I got to say, TC helped me with a happy company.
Yeah.
Not long after we first met, the happy company became my angel.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, it was. It was great.
I've
Yeah.
had a couple of experiences. It's nice to, I got to the place where I was one at a time helping people find get on to where they can do their passion. I had a roommate at one time, and um, she was into little dogs, and I just said, well, okay, you just keep your passion on the little dogs, and I'll keep the bills paid, and maybe someday you'll have, you're having fun now. What about it? And so turned out she became a service dog. The person that, when you have a problem with the company refusing your service dog or something like that, she
Hmm.
became a person that testifies in court cases about the legality of service dogs. So
Oh, that's really nice.
Yeah.
yeah. So the happy company's had some success.
That's good.
And then I showed you when I saw copiosis, which you saw that little video.
Right.
Well, when I saw that, I thought that is the happy company. I mean, it's like your needs are met, and you're rewarded for the good you do for the others in the planet. And it's like that. So you could do anything that you're passionate about, and you would be rewarded for it. And it doesn't have to be something that is valued by the quote market, free market.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
You could be rewarded for any good thing that you do. Just showing up for somebody and being there for them is great value, and we never talk about things like that.
Right. We don't.
So I have a question for Emily. If
Yes.
you could do anything you wanted to and be supported, what would it be?
Um,
You could spend your time doing your favorite thing.
I don't really have a favorite thing. Um, it would more than likely just be in multiple things.
Uh-huh.
Well, that's good.
I don't think
I'm
like I
like
like
that too.
video games, but I couldn't play video games all day. I'd get bored or um I don't really know. I'm not sure.
You know what I'm thinking? That's a question I always like to ask people is, being in the happy company, what would be your passion? And I'm realizing here with you, Emily, is like I bet nobody's ever really asked you that question
No. I
to
mean, I
actually.
don't really have any passions that I know of.
What do you
So
like to do? I'm just curious to get to know you a little bit. What do you like to do? You like to play video
Honestly,
games. I get that.
yeah. Honestly, I don't really do much outside of work and school. Um, yeah, I mean, most of the time I go to work and I come home and I feed the cats and eat something and then, kind of relax on my phone or something. Not any I don't really do anything anymore.
Yeah.
A lot of it though just has to do with um I had a surgery back in April, so I get, tired way more easily now.
um,
So everything just takes a lot out of me. So yeah, I mean, I'll get back to 100% eventually, but I'm probably at like 90 right now.
Yeah, it takes time.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I get that. So TC and I are old.
You're not
What
that
age?
old.
Well, we're young at
Well,
heart, but we got old bodies.
I told Emily I'm an apprentice ancestor.
You're So what age group are you in, Emily?
I'm 19.
You're 19?
Yes.
How wonderful.
Isn't that fun?
I know
That's
somebody who's 19. Wow.
yeah. Oh, she was the time she's been in the meetings with us. It's just it's it's a joy. I don't mean to talk about you, Emily, but I am.
Oh, you're fine.
Um, you know that you brought a lot of joy to the meeting,
Aw, that's nice of you.
and you like to laugh, and you've got a good sense of humor, and um, yeah, it's like she was says, I know somebody that's 19, and it's like, and then of course the thing wants to you want to that I want to go to is so what is it? What is it? Okay, when I was 19, it was a draft and all that, and we were going to fight the establishment and change the world. So what does
Right.
a 19-year-old do nowadays?
Nowadays, I mean, do you mean in regards to like fighting the establishment or just in general
As a generation.
as a generation? Honestly, I have no idea. The way I grew up is a lot different than the way a lot of other people grew up.
Oh
My
yeah.
mom, my mom has borderline personality disorder, so I was
Hmm.
pretty much mom, since I was a little kid. So I've never like been the kid. I've never like I didn't have those I didn't go to parties or anything like that. So I don't
Oh
think I can really speak for the generation or the age group. Um
Well,
yeah.
that explains a lot because you sound very mature. I had trouble believing you were 19.
Yes. I mean it's
oh
definitely not ideal. If I had a choice, I would probably opt out of that. But,
Yeah,
that's just how it is.
well, I
yeah, I
know that
understand.
um, she showed up strong the other night in one of our meetings where there was some. It was going
Oh,
around
that
and around in the
Nissan
circle.
guy?
Yeah, and you
Yeah,
handled
that
that
was
really
really
well.
funny.
What
And
happened?
He
Nissan.
didn't have a real
Yeah.
point. He kept talking and talking,
Oh, I
and he
know
was kind of
Nissan.
trying to
Yes.
like rip apart the thing and say there's like these major flaws in it. But I'm like, every time you're trying to explain a flaw, there's no real basis or facts behind what you're saying. It's kind of just you're just saying these statements and assuming them to be facts, you
Good for
know?
you.
I mean, I didn't say it like that, but I was like, do you have any supporting evidence for this? Or is
She
it just
handled it
personal
beautifully.
anecdotes? And he's like, I never said a personal anecdote. I'm like, I'm sorry, then just the statements then. Like, do you have
You did
anything?
so well, Emily. I was so proud of you. And it's like I've been in the meetings with Nissan, and so many times I've wished that somebody would speak up. And I,
He was honestly, it was just partially rude for the amount of time that he was taking up
yeah,
for one
yeah,
person. You know what I mean?
hmm just to go in a circle like that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's not
Um,
very respectful.
no. And geez, I just lost my train of thought, which is quite often that happens.
Me too.
I've been doing that since I was in third grade. That was my first memory of losing. Totally, I walked out of class and went home, and turned out it was lunch hour.
Oh
And
gosh. They're like, where did she go?
boy, I was having senior moments in third grade.
Oh wow. Yeah, I it's funny. I can tell you, Emily, that I don't feel old, it, emotionally and mentally. I mean, physically, I feel very old. But as far as my spirit and my energy, or whatever it is, that part of us that just gets excited about life and loves to live,
Mhm.
that part's young. And
That's good.
just giving you a heads up that you can stay happy for a full life. It's all about it's all about choices. And oh, I know what I was going to say. Well, you told us a lot about your generation in the sense that you were responsible. So maybe this
I guess.
generation will be more responsible. I spent a lifetime avoiding responsibility, and I was really good at it.
If I could have no responsibilities, I would.
Yeah.
Are you
The
still
thing is,
responsible for your mother?
Not as much anymore. Not really. Uh, so in that dynamic, I was what was called the scapegoat. So
oh,
once I removed myself, it was kind of a wake up call from her. And she went to therapy and now she's on meds and she's a lot better now.
Oh,
oh, cool. Because I
good.
think you said she came and helped you there for a while or something.
Yeah, it's in the past year or so, it's been much better. I used to like I used to not go over to her house because of the way she made me feel, but now it's not like that.
That's great.
Yeah.
That makes me happy to hear.
Oh yeah. Definitely better than the alternative.
Yeah.
Her not changing. That would be horrible.
So what
Well,
do you have to celebrate, you guys? I told you what I was celebrating for this
I was
week.
just going to get into mine.
It's my little
Um,
brother's birthday.
Ah,
Yay! Happy birthday!
He's turning
Mine's coming up.
13.
oh, that's a big birthday.
Oh yeah, he's excited.
Yeah, baby.
Is that today?
No, it was Wednesday, but
Oh,
The
his like
13th.
birthday party is tomorrow.
Oh, yay! Are you going?
Oh yeah. It starts at 2 and I get off at like 2:30. So I'm gonna head down there right when I get off, and I should still be there before they do cake and stuff like that.
So you live close to your family, your brother and your mother.
I live close to my dad and my stepmom, and my little brother's with them.
Okay.
my mom and my siblings that are with her are out in like they're like 5 hours away from me right now.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so I'm not able to see them as much as I would like, but you know, FaceTime.
Well, my big adventure this week was realizing, and I think you saw a little bit of it, Emily, that I was having trouble with my degraded video. I was making these videos and they were coming out and they were all degraded. And I couldn't, I got really disheartened. I mean, I felt like, oh, this is my favorite thing to do.
Right.
And now what am I going to do? I can't make a quality video. It's like, so then what I did was I thought maybe it's when I'm converting them from YouTube to an MP4, which is the format my editor uses. It won't do a YouTube video. You have to turn it into an MP4.
Right.
And then and so I did a video straight from the source that was sent to me as an MP4. I didn't have to convert it.
Mm-hmm.
And it turned out perfect.
Great.
And I did that with Corel, and I did it with the one that I use, which is Movie Maker or something. I don't know what it is. Good Zillow or something. And it worked too. So I realized, oh, it's my converter is degrading the video when it's converting them. And so then I spent a bunch of time looking for a new converter. And after I'd spent a few hours, and I think I even tried to buy one or something, at some point I remembered, oh, on YouTube, you can download, they got a button you can hit and it'll download it for you. And they'll do it for me. I don't have to convert it.
That's good.
And it's great. And then I found that there's some that I can't get them to download. So what I'm doing now is I get in Zoom and I put share screen and I play the video, full size video, and record it. And then I have the video.
Nice. That's definitely one way around it for sure.
Yeah. So that's what I'm doing now. So that's my big week. I think I did some other things too, but. And I know, I'll bring up something that we might talk about, or maybe not. I have a friend that has a house here in California and he has one in Florida. And so about half the time he lives in Florida and half the time he lives here. It's like in the wintertime when all the tourists come to Florida, he comes back here. And then in the summer when all the tourists are gone, he goes there. And he plays golf and all kinds of stuff. The point of the story is I was talking to him and he was saying that out of about the 40 neighbors that he actually knows, all of them but 5 are Trump supporters, and they're very angry and they're very hateful. And they found out he was from California, and they told him as much as, well, they didn't come right out and say it, but they hinted that he might want to think about going back to California where he belongs. And
That's so ridiculous.
And it just made me, because see, I was all hopped up watching the hearings thinking, wow, a bunch of these Trumpers are going to see these hearings and they're going to say, oh, wow, he fooled me. I feel so ashamed and I'm remorseful and I want to do different. And that's not what happened. They said they said it was a bigger lie than the lie that they were told. And they are hanging on to their anger and hatred.
Yeah.
And it, and my sister, I grew up in Florida, so I know what it's about. I mean, there's not much free thought in the areas where I grew up.
No. Lots of
Mm.
ignorance and
Yeah.
stupidity and a mixture of both.
And then
Yeah,
another, go ahead,
there's a
please.
man that I work with who is like me. He's a climate reality leader, and been writing books for kids, and these are books to take into the schools. And he does programs in the schools to, teach kids about things that we can do to help the climate situation. And he found that when he was up in New Hampshire and that area, he could go into schools and talk about climate change, and they loved it. But once he moved to Florida, he can't talk about climate change anymore.
Mm, no, no.
He can talk
And
about living green lifestyle, but he can't talk about climate change.
it's pretty
Like some
amazing.
of them believe that it's not real,
Yeah.
which is hilarious.
Also this week I found when I was watching the hearing, one of the questioners quoted Lincoln from a speech that he gave back in, turns out it was in 1838, 22 years before the Civil War. And I got a copy of that speech, and I even found it where somebody read it, like an audio book. And I swear, if he didn't talk that 18th century lingo, and he was very colorful with his words, but I swear he's talking exactly about what's going on today, and that he was saying we'll never be overthrown from the outside. If dangers comes, it'll come from the inside, and we either live through it or we die by suicide.
Is this the speech that they call his Lyceum address?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna bring that up on my computer so I can read it later.
Yeah, it's way cool. It's the video takes 21 minutes to listen to. But I was saying today to myself and anybody that would listen, to not learn from history, you're doomed to repeat it. And I really don't want to do that again.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Emily.
Oh no, I was just agreeing.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I feel kind of funny because you're going to be left with this after I'm gone. And I'd really like to clean it up before I go, but it's like I'm
Yeah,
not getting much.
hopefully.
I'm not
I
getting
mean,
much cooperation.
if it doesn't turn around in the next few years, I've pretty much decided that America's not for me. I'm out.
Well, I don't
Yeah,
know, where do you go?
Anywhere. I mean, Germany is looking pretty good.
Will they
a
let you
lot of
come there?
Oh yeah. I have another friend that's actually like planning on moving to Germany, I think in the next year or so.
Mm-hmm.
mm-hmm.
Big for the exact same reasons. And then his younger brother would be following him not long after.
No, all the European countries are very kind of like progressive,
Mm-hmm.
especially
I
compared
mean,
to
they have
us.
their
Compared to the
own.
United States, especially.
Yeah, yeah. They did. Don't get me wrong. I understand that they all have their own problems, but at this point, none of them have problems as many problems as the United States.
Exactly.
Yep.
It's
I'll tell you
just
another
yeah.
place you might want to think about going. Go to China, because I mean it's happening in China. I have a
I've
friend
heard.
Eddie. Eddie moved to China and he's doing really well. He's been there 12 years, and
Yeah, he loves it.
yeah, got a Chinese wife and two little childrens, and he's just having a good time. And it's different, but he has freedom like we have freedom. The difference is he can walk on the street at night and not be in fear, and we can't.
Oh yeah. You know,
So they do give up some freedom for security, but they're willing to do it because they would rather have the freedom of being secure. So,
right. I feel like in the US we do get a lot of like anti-Chinese propaganda, and I have no idea what that's about.
I didn't understand what you said.
Oh, you're fine. I said I feel like in the US we get a lot of like anti-Chinese like propaganda and media, and I really don't know what that's about, honestly. Like when the whole
well,
COVID thing happened, everyone was like, "Oh, China this and oh, China that." And all
right,
this and that, and it was just kind of like I highly doubt that this has anything to do with them. But
well, it turns out if it did have anything to do with them, it was like it was at a lab that I think Dr. Fauci was
Yeah,
sending money to.
yeah.
So, I mean, now as far as the what you hear about China, I watched these. There's this one guy, his name's Cyrus. Whatever, it doesn't matter. But he lived there for 10 years, and now all his YouTubes are about wanting to have China and America work together because together we could make a fabulous world for all of us.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and
honestly,
imagine all the resources we put into fighting each other. If we put those into supporting each other in what we need to do to live a sustainable, oh, it would be great.
oh yeah, I remember like someone was talking about. I don't remember where I saw this, but people always say, China this, China's so awful, and da 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 da. But America's in so much debt to China
Yep.
that if they
Hmm.
if they one day pulled out the receipts and they're like, all right, I want all my money right now. I want all the money that you owe me right now. It would cause America to like collapse completely.
Yep.
Right,
It would.
Right. And I'm like, but they don't do that. So how bad are they really? You know what I mean?
right. And the thing that I've learned is that in China they have one party and they say, oh, it's one party and it's like they're totalitarian, whatever they say about them. But the way that party works is to move up in the party, you have to do good deeds for the people. You start out in your community, and if you're a good servant in your community, then you move up to the next level. And so they don't even elect their president. He's earned his position
Right.
through what they call meritocracy. It's like, and in this country, it's like there's no accountability.
No.
You get There's no reason to try to do better because you do better by lying and cheating. So
Yeah.
that's sad.
I know like people are talking about with the whole Supreme Court thing and the Roe v. Wade,
Hmm.
talking about trying to hold those Supreme Court justices um, accountable because they said when they were being sworn in, no, that's something we would never touch. That's a constitutional right.
Right.
We would never overturn that, da, 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 and then turn around and did it anyway, which
Yeah.
is lying under oath.
Right. And there'll be no
That,
accountability.
there won't be, no.
Now, in China, they would probably get 50 lashes or something. There is accountability in China.
Right.
And I guess that's why they get a bad name because if if you turn out like if a businessman turns out that he's taking advantage of the people, he's removed. He's not allowed to do business if he's not put in prison.
Right.
So anyway, um, yeah, I'm watching the whole world move forward while we're sitting around here, arguing with each other.
Yeah.
And even on the left, they argue, well, do we want to reform or do we want to replace?
Yeah.
Do we want to create a new system or do we want to reform the old system? And then on the right, it's like, we just want to burn it down.
We just want to do whatever we want. We want to tell everyone what to do, and
Mhm.
I think that's honestly my main issue with it is like them, or I guess most right wing people, um, kind of trying to make decisions for other people, like the versus Wade thing. You can't really
Mhm.
think of an explanation to to really be against abortion that isn't based on like the Bible and religion in some way,
Right.
and there's a bunch of other things,
Well,
to
if
do
they
with
read
that.
the
The separation with church and state, it's supposed to be separate.
right, you're right
Yes.
about that.
So,
Yes.
I don't understand what the basis of that law, like where it comes from. What legal basis? Life starts at conception. No, it doesn't. You believe it starts at conception because you believe
Mhm.
in the Bible.
Well, I personally am not a Christian, and I do believe that life begins at conception. And I was very aware when my son was conceived. And I got to say, I knew him then and I know him now, and it's the same person.
Right.
And that was, at the point of conception. So I am convinced that life begins at conception. I just don't
Right.
believe that I have the right to make other people follow my beliefs.
Right.
Mhm.
Exactly. Like that makes perfect sense. And I
Exactly.
don't, I personally don't believe life begins at conception, but I'm not going to tell you that you're wrong.
Right. Right. I mean, how could you possibly know one way or the other?
Right. Exactly.
It is a belief.
Exactly.
Well, I don't know
So
when
you
it
can't
starts, but
yeah.
I know when I saw my son the first time, I had this epiphany or this feeling of my father's energy come into my body, pass through it, and go into his.
Right.
And it was amazing. And I thought, wow, that's God. That's the ongoing spirit of life that passes from one generation to another, and it just continues to go on and on and on. And I thought, so that's the ongoingness. That's what God is. It's just the ongoingness of life. It's just forever changing
Yeah.
and
To me,
reinventing.
what's important about laws is that we, we should have freedom of choice as much as possible in our lives in every
Right.
Mhm.
way.
Exactly.
And if something is, I mean, I think we can all agree that murder is wrong.
Right. Absolutely.
But what about killing animals? I mean, that to me, that's murder also.
Right.
But or killing trees, chopping
Or
down
allowing
trees because we want to put a fence there. So we'd sacrifice a tree. Who are we to sacrifice a tree?
right.
Right.
Well, and then I want to bring up the un what about the suffering? It's like murder is wrong, but I think letting people suffer,
Yeah,
is wrong. Um,
yeah,
when you have the ability to change it, and we don't, we allow people to suffer. So it's like I'm just saying, it's this big thing about protect the fetus. But when they're grown, once they pop, it's like
Oh
you're
yeah.
on your own.
I saw this one meme. It was really funny. It was like Republicans when you're preborn, and then it was like them caring or whatever, and then Republicans when you're preschool, and then them just not being there, not caring.
Right.
right, right. Or we're pro-life, but we want to keep our guns.
Right.
Mm.
We're pro adoption. We're pro life, pro adoption. Oh, do you adopt? No. Oh, do you donate to adoption centers? No. Okay. Just wondering. where
Yeah.
those values really are.
I
I
think it
saw
has,
the,
it's
go
more
ahead.
about control
Yeah.
than anything else.
Yeah, well, I saw this video today of this guy. I think he's from Ireland or somewhere, but he looks kind of like the lead singer for Led Zeppelin, but he's got this blonde, real wild hair and a little white beard, and shows up in the parliament in a t-shirt, and he goes off, and he's talking about NATO, and in the end he says, well, what I want to know is what does the EU want? We know what NATO wants. What does the EU want? And of course he spent his time telling us what NATO wants is to have more war, because that's how they make money. And they're a war machine. They're not a defensive action. They're a war machine. It was really cool to hear somebody say that in a place of power.
Where that was something really weird my coworker said. He was like something, I guess either Sweden or something was wanting to join NATO or something like that. And then I was like, "Oh, that's good, right?" And he was like, "No, that's a bad thing." I'm like, "Why?" He's like, "Well, they just want our protection and da da da." I'm like, "Okay, why is that bad?" I
Well,
don't know.
the reason NATO wants to expand is because then they can sell them. They come in with a rule that you got to have the armament to be part of NATO. You have to have the same armament as we have to be part of the
Oh,
team. And so then they sell them all these arms and weapons, and then they can get weapons right up against Russia and stuff like that. And that's why Putin got pissed off, because when the Soviet Union collapsed in the end of 1980s, at the beginning of the 90s, we made a deal that NATO wouldn't move any closer to Russia, and they're right up against them now, and so Russia's saying no, this is not okay.
Right.
And of course, in this country, we have no idea of what's happened,
mm-mm.
that what NATO is actually doing. And
Yeah, I didn't know that.
yeah, and it's all about selling military equipment and stuff.
Hmm.
And if they can get nuclear weapons in there, that's good too. They
Ah,
like
yes,
to.
'cause that's exactly what we need.
I know, isn't that crazy?
That is
And it's
funny.
like how that happened. That happened when I was a kid. When they let that genie out of the bottle, and then the next thing you know, they had thousands of them.
Yep.
That
And
happened before you were born, darling.
oh, really?
Well,
Yeah,
yeah, they used it in Japan before you were born.
but I went to peace camp in Albuquerque, New Mexico, where they store a lot of the weapons
Hmm.
in this mountain. There's this mountain, and they carved out the middle of the mountain, and they put the weapons in there. And and of course, at peace camp, you weren't allowed to have any drugs or anything. So I would sneak off every evening, and I'd go down and sit in front. I would sit in front of the base there, and I would smoke a joint and sing them songs of peace and love.
That's
It was
good.
it was so. And then when it was time to do the big protest, the march or whatever, they left me at camp to guard camp, because they knew that I couldn't. If I got arrested, I'd never get out. So, and it was.
You should show her pictures of your two helpers.
Oh yeah, Art and Jughead. I can tell you a little bit about them. I made them. I made these kind of mannequins. I was supposed to be having a workshop for two apprentices, and they never showed up. So I built me two apprentices, Art and Jughead, and for hair, I one of them had I put a hole in the top of its head and put a bunch of straw in there and bent it down, and it looked like blonde hair. And so then I did that with the other one. So they were both like kind of like blonde hair reggae guys. And anyway, so when I got down to camp, I was all weird. I was tired, and so I got in my tent and went to sleep. And the wind blew and blew and blew, and I had these guys sitting up on the back of my truck on the tailgate. And when I got up the next morning, their hats had blown off and all their hair had blown off. And there was just these little stubs left there. And I would look at people and I said, you know, you do everything you can for your kids, and then overnight they go punk on you.
That's funny.
Yeah,
That's
it
really
was
funny.
funny. And people got it. So, yeah. So you have all kinds of adventures ahead of you, my friend.
Hopefully.
Oh yeah, life's a bit an adventure. Um, although I hope we don't go into the thing like they did in the Soviet Union after they collapsed, because they didn't do well.
Let's hope not.
I hope not too. But on the other hand, if it gets bad, people will come together to survive, and at least you'll have that joy of community that we don't have now. We might not have anything, and we may be kind of like in some form of suffering, but we'll be together, and that'll work for something, I think.
True.
I don't.
It's possible.
This is supposed to be a happy hour. Shut up, PC.
No. I'm just wondering if it would be more of a mass exodus of people leaving to go somewhere
Well,
better. Because that's what I would do.
Well, there
yeah.
might be a max. I think there might be a mass exodus of young people leaving. I think for older people, it's hard to find a place that wants you unless you've got a lot
Mm,
of money.
Aw. Wait, that's messed up.
Pardon?
that's messed up. She said that's messed up.
Yeah, it is. I agree.
Yeah.
You can come with me, no problem. How long can you stand being zipped up in a suitcase?
Mm,
I'll get you shipped.
well, we're getting close to being here for a while, and I want to thank both of you for giving me a happy hour. And this is our second official happy hour, and we had a 200% increase in
Woo!
attendance. So we're growing exponentially.
Absolutely.
And maybe if we get the newsletter out on time, people will see it and read it and come and visit.
Yeah.
I asked the people from the Citizens Climate Lobby to come and see me, and I got kind of like told that wasn't really okay. They want to
Oh.
stay focused on what they're doing, and I don't blame them. I mean,
Oh yeah, I
I
guess that's
I wasn't trying to sell them what I was doing. I just wanted to come see me. I just want to hang out. And I wanted to be like it was when I was young, and we had all this music that bound us together, and we became what we called freaks. And you would just immediately recognize each other. You would feel the spirit as you walked up to each other, and it was great. And then it was like As I got older, that faded and faded and faded. And I think some of that, you saw some of that in Occupy in
Yes.
2007.
Yeah, I was going to say there was some of that.
And there's a couple other times I've seen it. And I'm thinking it may come around because um, all the youth I've met so far are really sharp and they're together. And I do think they can make a better world.
I
Um,
hope so.
Me too.
Mhm.
Well, the world is really kind of cool. It's very bountiful, and we just we don't know how to enjoy it. I don't think.
Yeah, we want to dominate it.
Yeah. Oh, it's like save the world or savor the world. SAEEOR. Savor the world. And
I feel like savor implies that it's going to end.
oh, really? Well, the
You
world won't
savor
end.
something because you know it's going to end.
Oh, well. Speaking of that, I was telling somebody I feel like when I was before I could drive, and I would be taken to parties, and I knew that somebody was going to come at a certain time and pick me up. And it always seemed like right when I really started having fun, it was like I only had a little bit of time left before they were going to come and get me. And I'm looking at my life and I'm thinking, wow, man, I'm really having fun. I gotta dig this, man. And it's like, yeah, well, the car's on the way. So, but
Yeah.
then Chandler told me that his his anyway, some relation to his was 100 years old yesterday. So
Oh, that's
I may be
awesome.
for a good long time. I don't know. I
You
feel good.
better.
Yeah.
All right.
So, do you want to say anything before we go? Anybody?
Just that it's been delightful to meet you, Emily.
It's nice to meet you too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've really enjoyed this.
Me too.
Well, really, thank you for coming, both of you, and it's been it was different than I would have been had I not had you here. I was going to entertain. I was going to work on what I'm working on right now is this. I'm trying to get this video about PNAC, the project for a new American century, and I'm going to have to do that deal where I'm going to have to get on Zoom and record it, and oh, I'm getting stars. I see the stars.
Yeah, I'm giving you gold stars
Right on.
for
And
organizing this.
so,
I could only figure out how to give you one.
Me
I would
too.
have given you more if I could figure out how.
I think you can only put up one at a time.
Oh, okay. Well, you had a gold star there, TC.
oh, yay. I wanted to give out stars. And I kind of liked when I went to the Citizens Climate Assembly or lobby. Every time you do you do a training or go to a seminar or something, you get a little um, I forget what it's a badge. You get a badge,
Yeah.
and so if you get 50 badges, you get to have the gold symbol on your status bar.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, a
Yeah.
reward program. Yeah. I'm going to do that for my kids program, and they complete so many different things they get badges.
Hey, people love badges.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thumbs up there, Emily.
Okay, I'm going to stop the recording.
Okay.